Most people never come close to finding out what they're truly capable of. They stop when things hurt, when life gets hard, when the struggle becomes uncomfortable. They think they've reached their limit, but they haven't. They've only reached the edge of their comfort zone. The truth is, your limits aren't real. They're stories, lies your mind tells you to protect you from pain. But if you want to find greatness, if you want to see what you're made of, you have to push past those lies. You have to go beyond what feels possible. Bro, your mind quits before your body does. Every single time you feel like you've hit your limit, when your lungs burn, your muscles ache, and your thoughts scream, stop, you're not even close to done. You're not at the end. You're barely at 42 of what you're truly capable of. That voice in your head that says you can't go on, that you've reached your breaking point, that you've given everything, that voice is lying to you. It's your mind trying to protect you, not push you. It's built to keep you safe, not strong. The human brain is wired for survival, not success. Its job is to keep you comfortable, to prevent pain, to avoid risk. But comfort doesn't build warriors. Because they've been taught that discomfort is danger. They stop when it hurts, they back off when it burns, and they wonder why they never improve. But those who push through that wall, those who ignore the voice of weakness, discover a whole new version of themselves. They learn that the mind is like a muscle. It gets stronger only through resistance. You have to break it down to build it up. Every time you ignore that internal quit signal, you're reprogramming your mind to accept more pain, more pressure, and more progress. That's how mental calluses are built. Through repetition, through suffering, through pushing far past what you thought was possible. You don't grow by staying within limits. You grow by destroying them. The human body is capable of extraordinary things. It can adapt to pain, to heat, to exhaustion. But the mind is the gatekeeper. It will always try to shut you down long before your body actually needs to stop. That's why mental toughness isn't about pain. Fearless. It's about being aware of that voice and refusing to let it make decisions for you. The strong hear the same doubts everyone else does, but they choose not to listen. They've trained themselves to recognize the difference between actual failure and mental fatigue. When their mind says, I'm done, they respond, we're just getting started. That's how you build the kind of resilience that breaks through every barrier. The mind will always underestimate your power. It will always try to convince you that you've reached your limit. But the truth is, your limit is wherever you decide to stop. When you realize that, when you finally understand that your potential is controlled by your mind, not your muscles, everything changes. You start pushing harder. You start testing yourself on purpose. You start seeking the edge because you know that's where growth begins. Pain becomes familiar. Struggle becomes fuel. The discomfort that used to break you becomes the training ground. That makes you. Your mind will always try to quit first. That's its nature. But when you take control of it, when you silence that inner voice with action, you unlock the other 60% of your potential that most people will never touch. You become something different, someone who doesn't stop at good enough, someone who doesn't fear pain, someone who refuses to quit. Because once you understand that your mind quits long before your body does, you realize one thing: you were never really tired. You were just mentally weak. And the cure for weakness is simple. Keep going when your mind says stop. That's where greatness begins. Pain is not the enemy, it's the path to power. Pain is the most misunderstood force in human life. Most people spend their entire existence running from it, hiding from it, numbing it, pretending it doesn't exist. They see pain as punishment, as something to avoid at all costs. But pain is not there to destroy you. It's there to shape you. It's life's way of testing how badly you really want what you say you want. Everyone wants success, greatness, strength, freedom, but nobody wants to suffer for it. Nobody wants the pain that comes with growth, but you can't have one without the other. Pain is the price of progress. Pain is the toll that must be paid to cross from who you are to who you're meant to be. Every great thing in your life, every bit of strength, discipline, confidence, and pride has been built through struggle. You can't grow muscles without tearing fibers. You can't grow a mindset without breaking limits. The pain you avoid today becomes the weakness you carry tomorrow. The pain you face today becomes the strength you live with forever. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Pain is the teacher, not the enemy. It's the fire that burns away everything fake, everything soft, everything unnecessary. When you go through pain, you meet your true self. You find out how much you can endure, how much you can fight, and how much you're capable of. Pain reveals character. It strips away the comfort, the ego, the illusion, and what's left is real. What's left is you. That's why pain is powerful, because it shows you exactly what you're made of. The people who run from pain are the same people who stay stuck in the same place year after year. They choose comfort, but comfort is a slow death. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you small. Pain is what expands you. Pain is what hardens your mind and strengthens your will. Every time you face pain and refuse to quit, you build armor. You teach your mind that you can handle more. And once you realize that, once you truly understand that you can endure more than you ever imagined, you become unstoppable. Pain doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. Pain doesn't disappear, you learn to carry it. That's the secret. You don't eliminate pain, you evolve through it. You make it a part of you. Pain becomes your ally, your weapon, your reminder of who you are. It becomes the fuel that drives you when motivation fades. The reason you keep pushing when everything in you wants to stop. Every champion, every warrior, every person who's achieved greatness has one thing in common. They made peace with pain. They didn't run from it, they ran into it. They use it as a tool to sharpen their mind and strengthen their heart. Pain isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. It means you're alive, you're growing, you're doing something that matters. Pain means you're on the right path. If you're not feeling pain, you're not challenging yourself. You're not evolving, you're not pushing beyond your limits. So instead of fearing pain, start respecting it. Start embracing it. Start seeking it out in the areas of your life that matter most. Because the more pain you can endure with purpose, the more powerful you become. The pain that once broke you becomes the pain that builds you. Every scar becomes a story of strength. Every struggle becomes a symbol of service. Bow. Pain is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally. It's the one thing that will never lie to you. It will always tell you the truth about who you are and what you're capable of. You don't need to fear it. You need to follow it. Because pain is the path. It's the road that leads straight to your power if you have the courage to walk it. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It doesn't attack you head on. It doesn't destroy you overnight. It whispers to you softly, telling you you're fine, you're safe, you've done enough. It lulls you into stillness, makes you believe that rest is the same thing as peace, and convinces you that average is good enough. But comfort is a liar. It's the enemy dressed as a friend. It makes you feel good while slowly robbing you of everything great you could become. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you choose weakness over strength, stagnation over progress, and safety over success. Comfort doesn't look dangerous, it looks easy. I tease the warm bed when you should be up grinding. It's the excuse that you'll start tomorrow. It's skipping the hard thing because you've earned a break. Comfort destroys more dreams than failure ever will because it keeps you from even trying. It convinces you that you're not supposed to suffer, that life is supposed to be smooth, that struggle means you're doing something wrong. But that's a lie. Struggle means you're growing. Struggle means you're alive. Struggle means you're on the right path. Comfort feels like a reward, but it's really a trap, a slow, silent death of potential. It kills your hunger, it dulls your edge, and it blinds you to what you could be. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're reinforcing weakness. You're teaching your mind that taking it easy is acceptable, that quitting early is fine, that mediocrity is normal. You don't lose your power all at once. You lose it in small, quiet moments when you choose comfort instead of courage. The most dangerous part of comfort is that it feels harmless. It feels deserved. And that's how it wins. That's how it keeps you stuck in the same place, doing the same things, living the same life year after year. The truth is, nothing great has ever come from comfort. Every person who has achieved greatness had to step into discomfort, had to sacrifice ease for excellence, had to trade temporary pleasure for permanent pride. The road to growth is paved with discomfort, pain, and pressure. You can't become tough without resistance. You can't become disciplined without struggle. You can't build mental strength in comfort. Comfort doesn't test you, and what doesn't test you can't transform you. The people who live extraordinary lives are not comfortable people. They're people who learn to find peace inside discomfort. They made a choice to do the hard thing every day, not because they loved it, but because they refused to stay the same. That's what separates the unstoppable from the ordinary. They know, At comfort will always be weight that drag them down, so they never let it win. They wake up and chase discomfort on purpose because they understand that pain today equals power tomorrow. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand your capacity. You stretch your limits. You make discomfort your new normal. And when that happens, comfort loses its grip on you. You stop being controlled by fear and start being guided by purpose. You stop avoiding hard things and start seeking them because you understand that greatness lives on the other side of discomfort. Comfort wants you lazy, soft, and average, but you weren't born to be average. You were built to evolve. You were built to adapt. If you want to become unbreakable, then you already know what the right choice is. Step into the discomfort. Stay there. Live there. Because while comfort feels good now, discomfort is what builds the kind of strength that lasts forever. Limits exist only in the mind. Every boundary you believe you have, every line you think you can't cross, every wall that seems too high, all of it is mental. The body doesn't set the limit, your thoughts do. The moment you believe you've hit your limit, it's not your muscles that give up, it's your mindset that surrenders. The truth is, your body is capable of far more than you could ever imagine. The problem is, your mind quits long before your body ever will. It's the mental voice that says, this is too hard, you're too tired, you're not strong enough. That's the voice that cages you. But that cage is an illusion. It's not made of steel, it's made of fear. Fear of pain, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of what might happen. I truly give everything you have and still fall short. But here's the thing, that fear is a lie. Those limits aren't real until you accept them. Once you believe they exist, they become your reality. The human mind is powerful beyond measure, but it's also fragile. It will build walls around you for comfort, for safety, for control. It wants to protect you from pain, but in doing so, it keeps you from power. The limits in your mind are self-imposed prisons, and most people live their entire lives locked inside them. They convince themselves that this is just who they are, that they can't go any further, that they've reached their peak. But that's not truth. That's mental laziness. The strongest people in the world are not fearless. They've just learned to ignore the lies their mind tells them. They've learned to push through the illusion of limits until they see what's real on the other side. Every time you test yourself, every time you push through pain, you're proving that walls in your mind can be broken. Limits only exist if you stop pushing. The second you keep going when your mind says stop, the limit moves. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. Every impossible you've ever achieved started as something you once thought you couldn't do. The first mile you ever ran, the first challenge you ever overcame, the first fear you ever faced, all of it began with doubt. Thinking about what's possible and start creating what's possible. The moment you stop believing in limits, the world opens up to you. Because there are no physical barriers that the mind cannot overcome with enough focus, discipline, and persistence. You don't need to be special to break limits. You just need to stop believing they're real. Limits crumble under consistency. They fade under pressure. They shatter under purpose. Every time you feel yourself breaking, every time you feel yourself reaching the edge, remember this: the edge isn't the end. It's the beginning of strength. That's where the real work starts. That's where you find out who you are. Limits are not facts, they're fears. They're not truths, they're tests. And when you pass the test, when you push through that pain, that exhaustion, that voice that says stop, you realize something powerful. You were never limited by your ability, only by your belief. Break that, and you break everything that ever held you back. Limits exist only in the mind, and the mind is yours to control. The 40-80 rule says that when your mind tells you you're done, you're only about 40 finished. That means you still have more than half your potential left to give. More energy, more strength, more willpower, more fight. But the problem is, most people never discover that extra 60 way because the mind quits before the body does. The mind is built for comfort, not greatness. It's designed to protect you, not to push you. The second it feels pain, the second it senses struggle, it tries to stop you. It tells you you've gone far enough, that you can't take another step, that you've reached your limit. But that's not the truth. That's your mind trying to trick you into safety. The truth is, you've barely scratched the surface of your capabilities. You still have fuel left in the tank, but you'll never access it until you're willing to go past that breaking point. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. The Average person stops at 40 IE and calls it their best. The strong, the relentless, the unbreakable, they keep going. They push into that dark zone, that space where the pain is real and the mind is screaming for mercy, and they stay there. Because they know that's where growth happens. That's where the magic lives, right beyond the point of exhaustion. The 40W rule is not just about physical endurance. It's about mental mastery. It's about taking control of your inner dialogue and refusing to let your thoughts dictate your limits. When your body says, I'm done, your mind says, not yet. That's how you build an unstoppable mindset. Every time you go past that wall, you teach your brain that you're capable of more. You expand what it believes is possible. And the next time, that wall moves further. That's how progress is made, one rep, 1 mile, one hard day at a time. You don't build strength in the easy moments. You build it when everything in you wants to quit, and you don't. The 40-idea rule exists to remind you that you are nowhere near your limit. That pain you feel, that's the signal that you're getting close to greatness. The mind will beg you to stop, but that's the test. The test isn't in the first few steps. It's in the steps you take after you've convinced yourself you can't. That's where champions are made. Because every time you push past that invisible wall, you're rewiring your mind. You're teaching it that discomfort isn't danger. It's the doorway to power. You start to crave the challenge. You start to live for that edge. You stop fearing pain and start using it. You start realizing that everything you want in life, the pride, the progress, the peace, sits on the other side of that 40 IG. That's where transformation happens. Most people never get there because they never stay in the fight long enough to see it. They retreat when it gets hard, not realizing that the pain is proof that they're moving in the right direction. The 40 IG rule is a remit. SAR, that your potential is far greater than your mind will ever admit. The key is to stop trusting the quit signal. Stop believing the first voice that says you're done. That voice lies. It's your mind trying to protect you from pain, not from failure. You have to break that pattern. You have to override it with action. You have to learn to keep going when everything in you says stop, because that's when you find the version of yourself that you've been searching for. The one that doesn't break, the one that doesn't quit, the one that refuses to stop at 40 IBU. That version is already inside you, waiting to be unlocked. But you'll never meet it by playing safe. You'll only meet it when you push deeper, harder, longer, when you give what you didn't know you had. There's always more left in the tank, always. And once you experience that truth, once you push beyond that 40-inch wall and realize you're still standing, still breathing, still fighting, you'll never again believe in limits. Because you'll know that the only real limit is the one your mind creates. Brr. The key to greatness is relentless consistency, not talent, not luck, consistency. The willingness to show up every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's happening around you, no matter how tired, sore, or unmotivated you are. That's what separates the elite from the average. Anyone can be great for a day or a week or when everything's going right. But true greatness comes from being consistent when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's painful, and when no one's watching. Consistency is not glamorous, it's quiet. It's doing the same hard things over and over, long after the excitement fades. It's choosing discipline over distraction, focus over comfort, purpose over pleasure. Most people never achieve greatness because they're addicted to feelings. They act when they're motivated and stop when they're not. They let their emotions dictate their effort. But consistency isn't emotional. It's logical. It's commitment in motion. It's a promise to yourself that your actions won't depend on your moods. That's how greatness is built, not in bursts of effort, but in repetition. Brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day. The weak wait for motivation, the strong rely on habits. When you build consistency, you build momentum. And momentum is power. It's the invisible force that keeps you moving forward, even when your energy is low. It's the reason some people seem unstoppable. They've created systems that don't depend on how they feel. They just do the work. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask what needs to be done, and then they do it. That's the mindset of greatness. Consistency is the proof of discipline. It's what transforms your potential into progress and your dreams into reality. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't follow through, it means nothing. Consistency is what turns intention into execution. You can't be great occasion. Allie, you have to be great relentlessly. You have to show up when it's raining, when you're tired, when no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, when your results aren't visible yet, because that's when it matters most. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who hit hard once. They're the ones who keep showing up long after others quit. They've learned to find rhythm and repetition. They've made consistency a part of who they are, not something they do. It's not an act, it's an identity. That's what relentless means. It's not temporary, it's eternal. It's who you become when quitting isn't an option anymore. And here's the truth. Consistency is the ultimate weapon against failure. You can't lose if you never stop showing up. You might fail today, but if you keep going tomorrow, you're still in the fight. Eventually, persistence beats talent, effort beats luck, and consistency beats everything. Because consistency compounds. Every small effort, every small win, very small choice adds up over time. And one day, you wake up realizing that the work you've been doing has built something unstoppable. That's what separates the best from the rest. Not their skill, not their strength, but their discipline to do what others won't. Most people quit because they don't see results fast enough, but greatness takes time. Consistency is patience in action. It's faith that what you're doing today will pay off later, even if you can't see it yet. If you can stay consistent when the results are invisible, when the reward is far away, when the effort feels endless, that's when you win. That's when you build an unbreakable mind. The truth is, life will test your consistency every single day. It'll throw distractions, excuses, and obstacles your way. It'll see if you really mean what you say, and the only way to prove it is through your actions. Talk fades, motivation fades, but consistency stays. So keep showing up, keep fighting, keep doing the work even when no one notices. Because every day you stay consistent, you're getting closer to greatness. Not in theory, but in reality. The key to greatness has always been the same: relentless consistency. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about never stopping, never slowing, never breaking. Because consistency always wins. And the person who refuses to quit can never truly be defeated.